All right, today we're jumping on board a really important flight. The Saudi Dreamliner service from Lucknow, India, all the way to Jeddah in Saudi Arabia. We're going to break down the entire journey, so let's get into it. Now, you gotta understand, this isn't just any regular flight path. It's basically a sky bridge. It connects two huge regions and sees a massive flow of people all year round, for work, for family, and of course, for faith. So what's the real story here? Is it a comfortable ride? Is the service any good? Is it actually worth the money you pay for it? Well, that's exactly what we're about to find out, from the moment you check in to the moment you land. Okay, first things first, let's cover the essentials, the basic facts of this trip. Getting these details down really helps set the stage for the whole 5-hour experience in the air. So, we're on a modern Boeing 787 Dreamliner, covering about 4,000 kilometers. The flight itself usually takes between 5 and 5.5 hours. And the people on board? It's a real mix. Tons of Umrah pilgrims, business folks, and a huge expat community. That's why these flights are almost always packed. Now, let's talk about the price tag. In economy, you're probably looking at somewhere between 32 and 55,000 rupees. But whoa, that jump to business class is pretty steep. We're talking 4 times that price, easily. And here's the key. During peak pilgrimage seasons, those prices can absolutely skyrocket, which really changes the whole "is it worth it" conversation. All right, every trip has to start somewhere, and that's on the ground. So what are those first impressions like at the airport before you even see the plane? Our journey starts at Lucknow's airport, and honestly, it's gotten some nice upgrades, and the departure process is pretty smooth. But here's a heads up. When these big international flights to the Middle East are leaving, it can get really crowded. You should probably budget about 20 to 40 minutes just to get through security and immigration. So, for the whole pre-flight experience in Lucknow, we're giving it a solid 8 out of 10. The airport's modern and does its job well. The only thing holding it back is that potential for crowding during those peak departure times. Time for boarding. So they use a zone system, which is great in theory, but let's be real, when you're trying to funnel almost 300 people into their seats on a wide-body jet, even the best system in the world is going to feel a little slow, a little congested. That's just the reality of a sold-out flight. And that brings our boarding rating to a 7.8. I mean, the system is there, it's organized on paper, but it just loses a few points because the sheer number of people makes the whole thing feel like it's dragging on. And now, the main event. We are on the plane. Let's break down what it's actually like to spend 5 hours inside Saudia's Boeing 787 Dreamliner. In economy, you're looking at the standard 333 layout. The seat pitch, that's the space between your seat and the one in front, is a pretty decent 31 to 32 inches. You've got the must-haves, an adjustable headrest, and most importantly, your own screen and a USB port to keep your phone alive. And this, right here, is the Dreamliner's secret weapon. The plane is designed to keep the cabin air more humid and at a lower pressure, closer to what you'd feel on the ground. So what does that actually mean for you? It means you land feeling less dried out, less exhausted, just better. It's a subtle thing, but it makes a huge difference. So when you factor in that special Dreamliner advantage, the overall seat and cabin comfort gets a really impressive 8.2. That feeling of arriving a bit more refreshed is a massive plus on a flight this long. Okay, let's talk food. Saudia gives you a complimentary hot meal, and you usually get a choice between an Indian dish and a Middle Eastern one. It comes on a full tray with some bread, a little salad, and a dessert. But here's something super important to remember. Saudia is a dry airline, which means no alcohol is served on board. And you know what? For airline food, it's surprisingly good. It's flavorful, it's filling, and it's perfect for the route. We're giving it a very solid 8.3. So what are you going to do for 5 hours? Well, everyone gets their own screen with movies, TV shows, and music. And of course, you get the live flight map, which is always fun to watch. The system works great, but honestly, the library of movies and shows feels a little on the small side compared to some other big airlines. Yeah, because of that kind of limited selection, the entertainment gets a 7.8. It's totally fine for a 5-hour flight, don't get me wrong, but if they just added a few more new releases, that score would easily pop into the 8s. And of course, let's not forget the best screen on the plane is sometimes just the window. You get to watch the landscape change from northern India, then it's just open ocean for hours. And if you're landing at night, wow, seeing the coast of Jeddah all lit up is a pretty spectacular welcome. We are on the ground, so let's look at the final leg of our trip, arriving in Jeddah, and then we'll pull it all together for the final summary. Jeddah's King Abdulaziz International Airport is super modern and really well designed. Getting off the plane and through the terminal is generally pretty quick. The one place you might hit a snag is immigration. Just be prepared, it can take anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, especially when it's busy. But you know what? Thanks to those great modern facilities, Jeddah's airport actually snags the highest rating of the entire trip, a very strong 8.4. It's a great way to end the journey once you're past that immigration line. So let's sum it all up. The high points? For sure, the comfort of the Dreamliner aircraft and the tasty hot meals. On the flip side, the weaker spots were the slow boarding process and the entertainment selection that could use a little boost. And here it is, the final report card. When we add everything up, from the airports on both ends to the food and the comfort on the plane, the entire Lucknow to Jeddah journey on Saudia's Dreamliner earns a final overall score of 8.1 out of 10. All in all, a really solid and reliable way to fly. Which really leaves us with a big question, doesn't it? We know it's a comfortable, reliable flight. But when those prices shoot up during peak season, is that comfort worth the extra cost? That's really the decision every traveler on this vital route has to make. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.